Jowls at 40. Let's do a 2024 update. Get rid of your jowls without surgery at the age of 40. Why is it some people do not get them? And what can we learn from then? Well, you may be 30, you may be 50, but in general, what I'm talking about is you have the skin age of about a 40-year-old and you want to prevent or even remove your jowls, the submentum area. This video is for you. From simple at-home habits to the least invasive nutraceuticals and skincare to the more invasive procedures, I'm covering it all for you today. From free to more expensive, I'll give you exact pricing on it all. And remember, I do this every day in my clinic. At one point, I even owned over 30 of these devices. And in fact, all the ones we're talking about today, I personally have used on patients. And I still, of course, own a handful of the best of them in my practice to treat my patients. So the information you're getting here is firsthand. It's not anecdotal or one person saying, hey, I saw results. Often that doesn't translate into you. You have to treat hundreds to know. Of course, this is not sponsored, and I have no vested interest in which path you choose. I have also had a lot of these performed on myself. And at the end of this video, I'll link a playlist that shows all the procedures I get. And when I'm getting them, I'm talking to you as I get the procedure, so you'll learn from my journey. You guys requested it, and I made one. I'll also place the timestamps below this video. It might be a little bit longer, but in case you're looking for a specific treatment, like Ulthera, like Softwave, whatever it is, in this way you can skip to the most pertinent part for you. In my opinion, it's all super important because it all connects together. And if you take care of this one area on your face, you'll save thousands and will have lifted your face in the process without wasting dollars. One thing I do know from my patients and you telling me all the time, it's clear you want to avoid surgery. Well, at least 99.99% of you do, and 2022 stats bear that out. 70,000 people in the USA had facelifts and 20,000 had neck lifts. But millions had their jowls addressed in other ways. The ones we're talking about today, these are the most popular. No question, surgical procedures such as neck lifts, they can tighten your skin and make it look less saggy. The reason this is non-surgically focused in this video today is because people don't have the $20,000 to $50,000, even the $150,000 to $250,000 some people charge for a facelift or neck lift, nor do they want the stigma of surgery. And yes, people will know you had something done if you get surgery. There's telltale signs no matter what. And there's complications, bruises, damages to nerves or muscles, internal bleeding, complications, of course, from anesthesia, like any operation, swelling or improper healing, sepsis, although rare because the face is so vascular, it has great blood supply, but that is an issue. And yes, of course, some people do die. This is not to scare you, but it's just rarely talked about and you need to be aware. Thus, 99.9% plus of people never get a surgical face or neck lift. If there's extreme jowling and sagginess, surgery is the best option, but not at 40. For most, and the interesting thing I see in my patients who do have more advanced jowls, they're often happy with a nice 50 to 60% improvement. They don't need a 100% tightened neck to enjoy life and the activities they want and their social situation. So that's often obtainable with what I'm telling you today. So jowls, it describes the sagging skin below the chin and the jawline, and almost everyone develops it as they age. But why? And maybe more importantly, why is it some people do not get them? And what can we learn from them? And how to treat it and prevent them. Look at the thumbnail from today's video. If you pay attention to two important areas as we go through this video. Number one, anterior to the jowl or in front, And number 2, posterior to the jowl, which is the gonial angle. Pay attention and on yourself. Go have a look and see those areas, because often we need to address anterior and posterior and you lose bone here. There's also a fat pad, or the jowl fat pad, that will become important as we go through this video. Now, pay also attention to this, because jowls are less pronounced in people who have 3 elements. Think if you have them. Number 1, thicker skin, a thicker dermis. Number 2, more healthy fat. Now, did you hear what I said here? Healthy fat. That's a newer concept, but one you will hear much more about 2025 probably and beyond. Even 2024, most people won't catch up to this concept. You need healthy fat. Often you have dysregulation of your fat pads. And number 3, more collagen in the area below the cheeks. So this area here, and the chin and submentum. So if you have collagen there, you're golden. So the first and primary cause of jowls is the loss of elastin and collagen. Now, collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. It constitutes 25 to 35% of the total protein content. It plays a vital role in the structure of various tissues in your body, including the skin, the bones, and the tendons, the ligaments, and the cartilage. It's no wonder then when your protein intake drops, so does your face. In terms of intake, think gristle. You see, gristle is that unpleasant surprise in a bite of meat. The fibrous bit you may end up spitting into your napkin. It makes sense you can't chew it, since gristle is a type of connective tissue that's mainly found in ligaments, and it doesn't break down when it's cooked. Check out this boiling pot of gristle. When I was at the International Congress of Aesthetic Dermatology before my lecture, I had to go to the mall to get a shirt, and I went to eat while I was there, and I was grabbing a bite. Look at this pot. If you see what's in there, it's all pieces of animals. There's legs, there's pieces that you don't eat or cook. They put it all into the pot. These are things that don't break down and you can't eat well, but that's where they're taking the collagen from that broth. And you know, I share tips and tidbits from when I travel, like in the blue zones and in Japan, but this is one of them. Now, collagen is only made by animals. It's often referred to as the glue that holds the body together. So think of it as the glue holding your face up in this case. Now, the more of it you can make and keep, the less jowling you'll ever have. Over time, the skin in your cheeks and below that jawline area loses much of its collagen and elastin. Elastin is another connective tissue protein that lets your skin return to its normal shape even after being stretched. Think of it, the bounce on your skin. So if you pay attention to these 3 things, the collagen, your fat, and the elastin, you're good to go. You never need to come see me, and that's a win. The less invasive treatments you ever need on your face, the better. So why don't we just eat collagen? Well, not so fast. And before we get into the more aggressive treatments that maybe you're waiting for here, let me first outline exactly the essential building blocks of collagen you need to be eating or supplementing with before we move on, because nothing you do, no at-home device, no in-clinic treatment, if you need those, they won't work. Nothing will work if you don't have these building blocks of collagen first. Let me show you. Okay, so look here. Vitamin A as retinol acetate, vitamin C as ascorbic acid, vitamin E, zinc. There's all kinds of extracts in here, but I want you to notice this one. Organic silica from bamboo. Think Japan. What do they take? Of course, bamboo teas. So you need these structural building blocks no matter what you're going to do. I want you to keep these factors in mind. Of course, I put it all in one supplement, but a lot of times you can get it by diet. Maybe you're eating these already. Now, let me guess what you've been doing to date. 2 things my patients tell me. I hear it all day long. Number 1 is makeup. Yes, my patients tell me all the different styles of contouring along the chin, the neck, and how it can make the jowls less notable. Many of my patients watch these tutorials online and even visit the makeup counter at places like Macy's, Sephora's, and they get demonstrations in person so they perfectly outline the jowl area. But that gets old, and at a certain point, it just doesn't work anymore. Plus, it is expensive in the long run, and you can't just shower and go out. So they end up in my chair. The second thing people do, and you'll see it in the pundits when you're watching TV and they're on an interview, is they wear turtlenecks and scarves. But that's a dead giveaway. So let's move on to something that you can get an actual result with. Naturally, you'll now say, well, I'll just take collagen powder, those peptides you get in the jar. But does it really work? Questioning that now in 2024, it's passé, it's old school. Study after study is showing the benefits, but look here now, there's something mind-blowing that happened. We found out that collagen signals more collagen. So when you take collagen, it tells your body to make more. Much what we see with injectable biostimulators, and that's astounding. Look at this study. Here's a study on collagen peptides, and they're looking at bone mineral density and bone mass in post-menopausal women. But check this out. Together, increasing knowledge about the signaling characteristics of collagen peptides, as well as the aforementioned encouraging findings in animal studies, make the results of the current investigation comprehensible. So in figuring out what was happening, why the results were so good for bone mineral density as well, it makes sense that there was signaling. And we know this from PRF. We know it from Sculptra. We know it with a lot of our biostimulators, exosomes, polynucleotides. Signaling is at play here. And it's probably why, if you look in the comments of collagen powders, people love them. Bones, joints, hair, nails, skin, of course, and tightening. And for those saying that collagen doesn't absorb in the stomach, check out this study. Here's a study, enzymatic hydrolysis of collagen hydrolysate enhances postprandial, so after you eat, absorption rate, a randomized control trial. Let's check this out. A significant increase in the plasma concentration of nearly all amino acids was observed over a 240-minute period for both types of hydrolyzed collagen. In addition, the absorption rate and bioavailability of glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, that's what we're looking for to build your collagen, were significantly higher. In conclusion, ingestion of collagen hydrolysates increases postprandial plasma concentrations of amino acids over a period of 240 minutes that they study it for. So if you want to read all of these studies, or you want me to break them down and go through all of these, I don't want to bore you, but we're showing that not only are we absorbing the collagen, but we have signalers that when you absorb it, you're then getting signals to the body to say, build more collagen. Absolutely stunning findings. Oh, and we should talk genetics. Will your genes save you? You might not have jowling now, but can you just rely on your genes? Did you know that if either of your parents have jowls, you're more likely to develop them? So when patients come into my practice and say, I don't want to get the jowls, the eye bags, the lip lines, etc., whatever it is that my mom or dad has, they are correct. We used to say, oh no, that doesn't mean anything. They do. So if you see it on your parents, you're likely to get it. Those darn genes, right? Well, we can't change the genes yet, but we are close. Let's start with a few simple, inexpensive, and even money-saving things that you can do. Number one, facial expressions. Watch these. Frequently, making certain facial expressions can stretch the skin on your face or neck. So no doubt, paying attention to habits of facial motion and your face sleeping position plays a huge role here. Think vertical lip lines and lip pursing. How many times I see people walk in my clinic, or when I'm just out at a store shopping or whatever it is, you see people, especially women, because you lose bone structure, continually pursing the lips. That's going to create lip lines. It's just a bad habit. So be mindful with your neck and your positioning. Making certain faces like frowning or contorting your face to extremes will cause jowls. More on that in a moment. Number two, think, what about weight loss? Often, if I see someone in my clinic with jowls, I'll send them home. I'll say, lose some weight. Then, guess what? They come back, the jowls are gone after they lose some weight. But there's a catch. You see, when you gain weight, your skin stretches to cover the increased body mass. If you lose the weight, the stretched skin will sag, unless you follow the tips in this video, of course, and keep your elasticity. Remember that one. The problem with weight loss is that once the weight's gone, you see the collagen loss that you neglected for years before. So don't let it get to that point. It's like emptying your hot tub. You get rid of the water, you look in there and you find things at the bottom. You don't know how they got there. Same with fat loss from the face. You didn't pay attention to your skin. You see, your skin's like a tablecloth that's covering a table. The fat was kind of like the legs and the structure and support holding up that tablecloth. And when the struts are gone, the tablecloth sags and falls. Your support's gone, and that was your fat. Next is sun exposure. Now, this accounts for about 80% of all visible signs of aging. Let me repeat that. This accounts, sun exposure, for 80% of all visible signs of aging. You think there's a prevention opportunity here? Yeah. You see, overexposure to UV rays or ultraviolet light damages the collagen in your skin. This causes your skin and fat pads to sag. It's why LED masks are popular, because you get the collagen building light, the red and the infrared, without the UVA and UVB damaging rays that kill your collagen. And, are you ready? That make fat dysfunctional. That's what too much sun does. You see, you have that exact fat pad here, the jowl fat right down here. And sun causes dysregulation of that fat, while red and infrared corrects that. And that's why people use these masks. People often say, well, sunlight has red and infrared. Why don't I just go in the sun? Well, that's it, because the sun also has the UVA and UVB. So consider home devices. And LED is the number one at-home device. It's easy, simple to use, and protects and helps with that dysfunction of fat pads. Now remember, I said thicker skin does better, right? Think AHA, alpha hydroxy acid. There's a skincare product, inexpensive, proven to thicken your dermis, and of course retinols, proven to tighten and to build collagen. There's some topicals. Look at proof of that here. Check out this study. Alpha hydroxy acids have been reported to improve skin aging. So they studied that. And look here. Treatment with AHAs, alpha hydroxy acids, you can get cream, you can get peel pads, caused an approximate 25% increase in thickness. The epidermis was thicker, and papillary dermal changes included increased thickness, increased acid mucopolysaccharides, improved quality, elastic fibers, and increased density of collagen. Who doesn't want that? That's skincare. Great skincare will do that. Next is smoking. Nicotine and other chemicals in cigarettes damages collagen and elastin. It's huge. Smoking can also cause your blood vessels to become narrow. That limits your blood circulation and prevents your skin from getting enough nutrients like vitamin A that's in your, of course, retin A to keep it healthy. And of course, that leads to unhealthy fat pads and skin. Loss of collagen, elastin, sag. Now here's a free tip. Using your computers or phones. Using a computer, looking down at a smartphone or your tablet for long periods of time, that makes the skin around your neck loose. Its elasticity goes, and these jowls have been called tech neck. What do? Limit your screen time. Try to keep your head at a natural, comfortable angle when you're using a computer or phone. You get all these devices now on Amazon that keep the phone in or your tablet at eye's length. Also, when you're on planes, I'm on planes a lot, they woke up to it too. They now have iPhone holders on the seat in front of you. You can also protect your muscles by taking a 10-minute break every hour. So work for 50 minutes, a 10-minute break. Good for many things. So these prevention tips are paramount and important, even if you choose surgery, fillers, or the device I'm going to talk about. because they help you prevent and prolong your results. Remember, even facelifts need repeating, and facelifts only last about 10 years for the first one and less, more like 5 or 6 years for the subsequent ones. But what if you already have deeper jowls? Let's look at the most popular non-surgical options here. Now remember, I performed many of these on hundreds, even thousands of people. Number 1, Thermage. I owned one. It works well in about 60% of people at the age of 40. If you have the money. So think $2,000 to $5,000 depending if you want to treat your neck or your face and neck. Little tip here, go for the face and neck. They're connected. And what about fat loss? Is it real? Yes. In fact, there was an eye tip back in the day that they developed. They kept it out for about a year to 18 months, and about 25% of the people who were treated with that tip unfortunately lost their fat pad. It was one of the first instances where devices were like, oh, yeah, that device it's not working. We're losing fat. 25% is a high number. And when I say it works in 60% of people, if you look at the real self rating, it's about 73% satisfaction, which is really high. But 60% of all comers will get a great result. Maybe 20% will be like, yeah, okay, that was good. And another 20% will see nothing. That's why I say you have to have the money for this procedure, because 2 out of 10, 1 out of 5, that could be you. And there's no real recourse there. Now, we can't say, will you age better over the next year to 2 because you did the procedure? I think you will. There's benefit, but you're not going to get that facelift-like look, even if you're only 40 or have a skin age therein. So remember, Thermage is monopolar RF, as opposed to, I'm going to tell you about RF microneedling in a minute. That's bipolar RF. So Thermage, the energy goes through you and you have a pad on the back. The energy goes through your whole body. With RF microneedling or other devices, the energy jumps within the headpiece on the face or neck. Now, what about Ulthera? I remember the first one around 2008, a very crude box. They brought it over to my office before this even was released, and I started using it. Think of Ulthera like HIFU, high intensity focused ultrasound. SoftWave is another newer device you guys always ask me about. These are skin tightening devices that use ultrasound energy technology to heat the tissues, stimulate collagen production, and that improves the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. A treatment will send ultrasound energy to targeted areas, and you can watch mine being done. Like I said, put a link at the end, and what I mean by targeted, and my technician goes through exactly the layers and what you can see on the ultrasound where she's targeting the SMAS layer. But remember here, the emitted sound waves are converted to heat. So once again, you have a fat loss potential problem. But it does give you that result of collagen in most cases, and the skin is boosted to diminish, therefore, the lines and wrinkles in all of those last 3 devices. Over time, the skin becomes smoother, tighter, and firmer, but this occurs over about 6-month period. Again, think about 70% satisfaction in there. The real self worth it rating for Ulthera is somewhere around 50%. SoftWave is around 75%. Now, SoftWave is a newer device, so it might be because it's less marketed, whereas Ulthera, people are treating everyone because, again, it is $4,000 to $5,000 a pop for those. So it's a great moneymaker for clinics. Again, watch the video when I get it done if you're interested in that procedure, because I go through everything and you can see where your technician, the person who does it, is absolutely key. Now, what about peels? Peels are obtainable for most people. They change the composition of the collagen in your skin and you do get tightening. They work especially at 40. Think tightening peels, glycolic, TCA, and low-dose phenols. Sometimes these are all combined. This is a great idea, especially if you have sunspots, because it'll take care of, kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Here you want to think also peel pads for most of you. Easier than a peel. You can do them at home. You can peel if you want, or just use them a couple times a week so you don't peel, get redness or irritation, but you get the benefits. These are easy, inexpensive, obtainable. I'll put links below in the more info section in this video so you can purchase them. And I have videos on exactly how to use it. Think $500 for chemical peels, and the Real Self worth it rating is 90%. Part of the reason why this is, people are spending $500 on a peel, whereas Ulthera, Softwave, Thermage, they're spending, in HiFu, they're spending more like $5,000. So when it doesn't work out, you're typically going to write a review. You're out $5K, not $500 like a peel. Peels do have more downtime. Now let's talk about a few more questionable treatments and what you need to know. A lot of you think that lasers lift. In general, lasers do not lift. They're good for brown spots. They're good for reds like rosacea. They're good for tattoos, but avoid them if your primary issue is lifting a jowl. Some people will get lasers to a high enough heat where you get some collagen production, but just forget them if you have jowls. RF microneedling. So think of something like Profound RF. This is a good example of a device that has a 3-second pulse. So that's a long pulse of 67 degrees Celsius. That's hot. That causes the collagen molecules in the dermis to partially denature, triggers an anabolic wound healing response, and then you get the fibroblasts that increase collagen and elastin. All the things we want, even hyaluronic acid. It can also kill the fat cells, and this is a good thing, or bad if it's used in the upper face where you want to keep your fat. You'll know other ones like Morpheus 8, Silfirm, Secret, Scarlett. I use a Lutronic device. I like to be able to really tune the heat because I like removing fat right at the jowl and tightening skin around it. I want a very tunable device, and my device has over 200 different settings. You can see how important it is that your provider treats hundreds of people. You don't want to be a guinea pig being learned upon. And in this case, think $5,000 for about 3 sessions. What's Real Self say? Again, 60 to 70% of people are happy. I would say most people that aren't happy with microneedling, it's because most people do treat the upper face with it. Some people lose fat and they write bad reviews, but you can check that out for yourself. Now on to fillers. They're great in this area. They can be used to camouflage hollow areas around the jowls. Remember I said in front and in back where the bone loss is? They do not lift. So when people say that fillers lift, they don't lift, they contour. They're made of a material called hyaluronic acid. And I inject this material to fill the jowls to make them look less saggy. Choose a robust filler. If you're going to do something like this, Restylane Define's a good choice. If you want something the most robust, I've had in my jawline something called Radius. It's calcium, so it's like hard as a rock. That's pretty much what you want for a strong jawline. Think 3 to 5 vials at the jawline though. Think $3,000. It's an excellent treatment, but it takes some volume, especially in a female that has some bone loss at this gonial angle. And as you fill here, you're going to create angles of width. So you don't want to be too wide. You want to have that nice shape to your face. You don't want that triangle of youth to become the pyramid of aging. So you can see you need an artistic injector who does a lot of this and looks at you as an individual, not cookie cutter. Now, some fillers can help your body produce more collagen to keep your skin tight. Think biostimulators, Sculptra, or PRF. They can be also combined, PRF and Sculptra together, to give you the most natural result. You need some patience, but they last longer, meaning they often take 2 to 4 months till you see results, but they last 2 to 5 years. Think again about $2,000 to $3,500. What about exosomes and polynucleotides? You'll find those answers in my 2024 Biostimulators Guide. I'll put that video here and my treatment playlist down here where I get Ulthera, Plasmafill, microdermal fillers, microneedling, RF microneedling, and I talk you through it. That's a great one to make more sense of this video. I'll put one down here in LED masks because that's a great one to keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.